What if I were to tell you there is one detail about the Bayside Miami Mall incident I haven't seen anybody else talk about that could potentially give us a clue about what happened, and it has to do with its GPS coordinates. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first, let's do a quick recap. The Miami Bayside Mall incident. From the filming of this video, it's been almost 2 years exactly since it happened, and the amount of stuff that we have learned is absolutely mind-blowing. Nah, just kidding. We actually don't know shit about it. And in fact, it feels like we know less now than we did the day it happened. Ain't that some precisely dick? However, there is one detail I haven't seen anybody else talk about. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first, this is a conspiracy meter video where we give points for and against the conspiracy theory, and at the end I give my rating. Because this is such a unique situation, I'm going to be giving my rating based on whether I think the official narrative holds up. January 1st, 2024, New Year's Day, at or around 8:30 p.m. there was a disturbance at the Miami Mall. Official reports say there was a group of at least 50 teenagers that got into a fight. Now, there were also reports of fireworks being set off that people supposedly had mistaken for something else that people mistake fireworks for. This prompted a police response, quite a large police response, but essentially that's it. That's the official story. A group of teenagers, a fight, some random fireworks, 4 juveniles arrested, nothing else to see here. Now, here are some of the interesting eyewitness reports about this incident. Multiple witnesses, and I mean multiple witnesses, reported seeing not one, not 2, but 3 large, shadowy, translucent figures step out of what looked to be a portal. That's a weird thing to confuse a teenage fight and fireworks with. Someone might have been off their meds, I guess, but the problem is the amount of reports. When this incident first happened, I was extremely invested into figuring out what happened. I did a lot of consuming content related to it, as I'm sure a lot of you did if you're watching this, and there was one important detail I noticed about the eyewitness accounts. They all seemed to align. Whether it was an elderly gentleman, a younger kid, it didn't matter the demographic, the type of witness. Every witness that was interviewed, they all had the same story. And the problem I have with every one of these is that they all severely contradict the official story. That's a big deal. It's not very common that that happens. When it does, generally the investigators change their narrative because clearly everyone that was there saw something completely different. That didn't happen. Why would it? That makes too much sense. Anyway, it's 2024 at the time that this happened, and we have security cameras everywhere. Every facility that's a public space has dozens of cameras. Everybody has a cell phone. The fact that we have yet to see a single video in 2 years is one in the conspiracy column. Almost like everything has been scrubbed. Not some average run-of-the-mill online censorship. Someone with the ability to quite literally scrub everything. A little weird. You're in a city full of cameras in a super crowded public space. Everyone has a cell phone. Where's the pictures? Where's the videos? Another point that tends to go against the official narrative, the sheer size of the response to this incident is a giant red flag. It looked as though law enforcement was treating this as an active shooter incident. At least that's what one would be led to think when you see those shots from outside the mall. Now, there's no official reports of how many first responders there were, but by eyewitness account and video, it's safe to say that there were hundreds of police officers and dozens of police vehicles from multiple agencies. I did a little research. The average response time to an active shooter is at or about 3 minutes. Future conspiracy ninja here. Based on that at or about 3-minute emergency response time for active shooters, this next eyewitness testimony that I had found after filming the video sure caught my attention.
And then I seen like 2 or 3 SWAT guys run past me, and I looked the way they were going, and I could see it looked like these big, tall, maybe 10, 12 foot tall. The best I can say is they looked like they were shadows, but yet, you know, they wouldn't. They were solid. You could tell they were solid. And they were tall.
Gentleman claims he was running out of a store with his sister, saw these shadowy figures. As he turned to run, there were already 3 what he calls SWAT team members. They were already running inside the mall to whatever these things were. If his timeline is accurate, that is extraordinary response time, even for an active shooter.
When we got outside, man, I bet you there was 40 or 50 cop cars all over the place. Sirens running. Cops were all in panic mode too. You know, like I said, those 2-3 guys, I think it was 3 SWAT guys run by me. And I say SWAT because they had the vest on and they had their AR-15s.
Wow.
They were, you could tell when the look on their face, they were scared. They didn't know what they were running into. I mean, you know, even active shooters before, when you see usually maybe a dozen cops show up.
Right.
This was 3 or 4 times that.
Yeah, it looked like they had every cop in the state there.
Yeah.
It isn't out of the ordinary to have hundreds of police officers respond to what's considered an active shooter situation, except one important thing. Officially, this was not treated as an active shooter scenario. It was treated as a disturbance by juveniles. 3 or 4 of them were busting off some fireworks, and that prompted hundreds of police officers to drop what they're doing and show up. Now, there was one video I remember seeing from this incident, and it was from outside the mall, and it shows what does look like some sort of shadowy figure sort of walking across the sidewalk. I think there was a wall behind it. We'll try and look at the footage here. That was like the one piece of footage that we were able to all see as outsiders of the situation. It's one of the few pieces of video footage that any of us got to watch, and it was not definitive, but it was interesting to say the least. We're going to get to that one thing about the GPS coordinates that I think is very interesting that not enough people are talking about, but before that, let's do the points for the official narrative. I don't have any points for the official narrative because the only points for the official narrative is, well, the official narrative. There's no video footage, which is so... I can't impress upon you how weird that is. It doesn't make any sense. How is there no footage? What are we doing, ossifers? How is there no footage? There was eyewitness accounts of people even saying that their phones were being confiscated and the videos were being deleted from their phones. I don't know if that's true or not, but goddamn.
Cops stopped us and they asked us what we saw. And we told them what we saw, and they asked everybody to check their phones. Not everybody, because there was mad people like running away too, right?
The police asked for the footage.
So I'm wondering if someone's gonna post a video. But yeah, they looked through everyone's phone. It was just interesting, the police response, because there was a whole bunch of them. This ain't for no teenagers. No, this was for something way bigger. And it almost seemed like the cops had like an already made strategy for it, because they surrounded one of the beings with like all their police cars, maybe as an attempt to like distract it or let it know like, hey, you don't belong here, right? You know, they were trying to like slowly move alongside with it.
My dad's a police officer in Miami, and I mean, like, he's even running for sheriff, and I just talked to him. He didn't say anything about that. Hey, did you, have you been seeing the alien stuff? Did you see that at Bayside? Are you serious? You're joking. You're joking. Did they tell you not to talk about it?
How many times you want me to slice the pie? I'm not allowed to talk about it. I do know what you're talking about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
It's just strange. Now, the GPS coordinates of the Miami Bayside Mall. Famous for things like Saved by the Bell, AC Slater's hair. The Miami Mall incident's more interesting, so... Anyway, let's get to the detail I mentioned earlier that I haven't heard many people talk about, if anyone at all, and that's the GPS coordinates. 25.7786 degrees north, and the latitude is 80.1869 degrees south. West, 80.1869 degrees west. A follower of mine mentioned that if you reverse the coordinates, it puts you somewhere very interesting, so I wanted to test that theory. I started messing around with the GPS coordinates myself, and of course I had ChatGPT help me out a little bit. Funny enough, ChatGPT seemed really keen on debunking this before it even answered my question. So after some debate with ChatGPT, I decided to, like a person with a brain, do the research myself. Just wanted to see what ChatGPT would say, and I found it interesting how hard it felt like trying to debunk this claim. Turns out if you take your latitude and your longitude, essentially reversing your GPS coordinates, it puts you damn near dead center of Antarctica. That's right by the South Pole. That is something I find super interesting. Is it possible the beings or creatures or whatever was at the Miami Mall, their intended destination was Antarctica, one of the weirdest, most secretive, highly classified locations on the entire planet, known to have weird, creepy, alien and paranormal related stories? Is it possible that's where these beings, whatever they were trying to go, and they reversed the coordinates? It's an interesting coincidence. It's also hilarious to think that beings that could have the ability to teleport and or create wormholes or portals in space and time and travel in the most advanced way we can't even wrap our heads around could accidentally put GPS coordinates in wrong. I hope that's true. At the end of the day, they're just like us. One thing I wanted to do is overlay these GPS coordinates coordinates onto the map of Antarctica, get a better visual of where these exactly put you. I'd like to do a follow-up where I do a little more digging on that. I think that could potentially give us some interesting results because there are so many stories. If you've watched Secure Team and other channels like that, there are quite a lot of doorways, big cavernous caves, crashed UFOs. I'd love to see where those line up in relation to these coordinates, but I found this interesting and I'd like to know what you guys think. Now, when it comes to my conspiracy rating on whether the official narrative holds up, I have to give this like a 9.9 out of 10. I realize eyewitness account isn't the most reliable evidence. This is why it's not solely used to convict people in court cases. However, when you have what they call a preponderance of circumstantial evidence, dozens of eyewitness accounts all saying they saw pretty much exactly the same thing, along with all the weird details about this, the fact that we have learned nothing about it in 2 years sure makes you think. And in the meantime, I appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think about the official narrative in the comments below. We are back, baby. Studio not finished yet, but we're getting there. Again, thank you all for the support. We got so many videos coming. Please follow, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Be safe. I'm out. Peace. Peace. Time to watch Harry Potter. I'm going to watch Deathly Hallows now. Peace.